divided so much of our country over the last 35 years into so many things. We have divided more land than we have. We never stick to our plans. We pull together these plans and leave our forests looking like this. Leave our cities and suburbs looking like this. Mining does this to our countryside. And people are forced to the edge of coastlines just to have a place to live. And yet we continue to build cities the way we always have and use our freshwater systems the way we always have. Our solid waste problem looks like this in many parts of the country. We use water as if it will never run out. And we let it run to the sea. 70% of our rainfall is lost to the sea. These are glimpses of the future. These are the areas you are going to be looking at in terms of new roads, new airports, new seaports, new towns, new lives. These are some of the options open to your generation. One thing we must always remember, the environment is the social security system of the poor. This is where their food comes from. We have to continue protecting our environment for that purpose. Globally, we have done a terrible job. It continues to increase. And we have to figure out solutions for this young man here. We have to continue to protect our marine protected areas and natural systems because that's where most Filipinos get their food. More than just our coastlines, we also have to look at other parts. We have to look, for example, at our water systems. We cannot live without water, and yet we do not manage it properly. It takes 4,000 liters of water to grow 1 kilo of rice, and yet we do not manage that properly. In the future, 42% of your diet will come from cereals, and we are still not self-sufficient in rice. This is the world tomorrow that will grow the rice. The countries you see now in orange are the countries where the populations will double. And in this last frame, these are the countries where the population will triple. Look at what we're doing to Laguna de Bay. They were told 9%, they're using 60% of the lake. And this is happening in lakes throughout the Philippines. We have to know about health. And we have to look at the effects of health on our lives. Otherwise, if you look at Metro Manila, for example, that is the future. That is the future we expect to see. Our highways will look like this. Our bridges. These are things we have to look at as well. Shipping makes up 90% of our cargo throughout the Philippines. That is the future of shipping. Our own nautical highway is at risk. This is another challenge your generation has to look at. Airports. We have 85 airports in the Philippines. 60 are at risk from flooding. We cannot live on 25 airports built on the coastline. Telecommunications, an essential backbone, but also a key vulnerability. Power. We cannot live without power. And yet, we continue to depend on coal and fossil fuel instead of learning from our good lessons in Leyte, Ilocos, and Benguet. Oil is facing a sunset. We have to find the new GPs of the future. We have to find the new power systems for the 2 million bancas that run throughout our country. We can no longer manage our cities this way. There is a deadline. The deadline is 2 Celsius. We're already at 1/3 of that. After which, the environmental impacts will spiral. We must shut the box. We have to look at every part of our country. As you will see, Spaniards have built many parts of the Philippines on floodplains and on deltas. Our airports are at risk, our seaports are at risk, our highways are at risk. Many of our activities, tourism, agriculture, all at risk. Education, food security, water, energy, telecommunications, all at risk. This is the challenge you face. I don't want you to think you have to answer for everything. I'm giving you a menu. You have many, many things to choose from. The The very quality of the air we breathe will change. Signs are all around us. They're highly variable and non-linear, escalating in spikes and troughs, alarmingly define planetary records. These impacts have begun and they will continue. It will get worse before it gets better. The thought is frightening, but there is hope. We started climate change, we can stop it. But it is crunch time. It will take 50 years at least to slow down the impacts of climate change. And during this very critical period, new lives will be born. Young minds must be nurtured and hunger will not wait. Remember, you have the technology we never dreamed of. 20 years ago, I didn't have a cell phone. Many of us did not have laptops. All of you have direct access to Facebook. Your generation has the capacity to process information and make the right decisions faster than the speed of human thought. But technology alone will not stop climate change. There are solutions. We know, even today, that these solutions will be a complex digital mosaic. Find them. Use them. What can you do? What should you do? Read, watch, experience, be a sponge. Acquire knowledge for as long as you live. Learn and never stop learning and share that wisdom generously. We must advance at a rate faster than climate change. We must cut those learning curves and leapfrog into the future. You have the tools. The more you share, the quicker we will find solutions and the better our world can be. Find out who you are and what you do best. This may take many years and much heartache, but when you find it, focus. Be the best you can in your chosen field. You know, I was just in Malaysia 2 weeks ago, and they have so much money. They spend so much on technology to fix their area, pero binaha pa rin sila. Money and technology are not enough. You must be climate smart. What you do and where you go is entirely up to you. Remember, strategy is only a start. As a nation, ang galing natin sa pagpaplano. Pero when it comes to implementation, may counterflow pa rin. Make it happen. That is what really counts. Even if it's small, make it happen. The world needs leaders that will not only inspire and inform and involve people. They need leaders who will make things happen. What you do and where you go is entirely up to you. Will you take the beaten path or the road less traveled? It depends on you, who you are and what you can do. But collectively, you are going to have to change the world. You have to make a difference where you are. You know, your life will unfold as a tree within a rainforest. There are many species of trees and plants, and they take on many different shapes. Iba-ibang hugis. Some grow as bushes and shrubs, others grow like vines. Some have woody stems, others do not. Some spend most of their lives underground, while others flower and fruit profusely. A few reach up above the canopy. But amid all this diversity, there are also commonalities. Even with the same species, each tree grows differently in its own way. Depending on where and when they root, how much sun and water they receive, the proximity of bees and insects, there is a difference. But in spite of that unique path each plant or tree takes, there is one characteristic they all share. They all reach upward and dance into the light. They are all unique, and because of that, they are really all the same. But since we live in such a diverse world, clearly, the biggest lesson is that we must learn how to live together. We only have one future and one increasingly crowded planet. When I look at your generation, I feel one emotion, and that's envy. Because even if half of you are asleep in this room, you are going to change the world. You have to. It's something I never had the experience of doing. Let me end with a story. My aunt, Amanda, a nun who most people knew as Christine, once wrote. They say that we are all drops of water in an ocean, totally lost in its expanse and depths, but some drops sparkle. Wherever it is you choose to make your mark in this vast ocean of possibilities, strive to do good while you do well. Always follow the light of truth with courage and strength. The flame is being passed to you. And it's your task to take this from this intense moment in time to a line and to a lifetime. Our planet is in crisis. To deal with it, we must all be part of the solution, and that starts with you. This is your moment. This is your child. One day, you too will have to say goodbye to this child. And when that day comes, please make sure that you pass on this blue oasis of diversity in better shape than when it was given to you. Please, be part of the solution. Maraming salamat.